Hey guys, how's it going? So, got a question for you. When Pokemon transitioned to 3D, did they choose the right console? I constantly ask myself this question all the time because, granted, Gen 6 was groundbreaking in the fact that, it brought Pokemon into 3D. But when I sit there and I look at it, even though I've tried to be, a staunch defender of, Gen 6 and all that, I really do think Pokemon probably would have benefited a lot more had it have went to the Wii U instead of going to the 3DS. Now, don't get me wrong. I get Pokemon's whole mission is to, go out and connect with people, go out and, trade with people. But did a lot of us really do that in person when we got it on the 3DS? I don't think a lot of us did. There's probably some people out there like, yeah, I was out there with my friends all the time. But even still, I found myself battling people online a lot more in Gen 6 than I did any other time in Pokemon. And honestly, even though the 3DS was pretty good and pretty capable, all that could have also been accomplished on the Wii U. It would have even gave them a chance to expand the story a lot more than they did had they just gone to the Wii U instead of staying with the 3DS to keep the simplistic design. And I get it. Being simple is great. You don't want to really rock the boat too much, but Pokemon has never really been afraid to, challenge the status quo. It's never been really afraid to try new things. And going to the Wii U when you decide to go 3D would have made a lot more sense. Honestly, in my opinion, heck, even if you wanted to, stay on the 3DS so you could sell, consoles there and then sell consoles on the Wii U, why don't you do a dual release that generation? Just a thought. But anyway, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know down below in the comment section. Hey guys. So, is it just me, or does anyone else feel like they have a weird love-hate relationship with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? I don't know what it is, man. It's like, I love this game, but then every time I try to play it, I'm just thinking, man, I wish I was playing a different Pokemon game sometimes, And I just don't know if it's just the fact that the open world is too open. I don't know if it's the fact that, it's a slog to get through some battles, even though they're not that hard. It's just crazy to me. And I'm not even saying man, I miss Gens 1, 2, and 3. I'm saying I'd rather be playing Gen 8 right now. And I really, really want to play Pokemon Sword and Shield right now, because for some reason, those games seemed a lot better to me. I guess if I had to put a feeling on it, I guess it would be the fact that the open world is just too open. I guess there's just too much space. In my honest opinion. And I know I'm not hitting anything new. I know people have been saying this for a while, and I've been trying to fight it, but I guess over time it's just after playing this game so much and just realizing there's not much to do, the open world is just a void. It's like you staring into the void. Whereas in Gen 8, at least with Gen 8, the open world was finite. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know, man, but I still love this game. I'm still going to play it. I got to finish it, but I'm still going to play it. But these are just my thoughts, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So please let me know down in the comment section. Hey guys, you want to know what electrifies my Team Rocket? The fact that in Gen 5, we had direct sequels, and they were some of the most innovative things in the Pokemon series, and yet we got them snatched away in Gen 6. It just truly annoys me that it took them that long to even come up with the idea of direct sequels. Now, I know technically Gold, Silver, and Crystal are the direct sequels of Red, Blue, and Yellow. Technically they are, but technically they aren't. But you know what I'm trying to say. And I get it. Technically the first 5 generations are technically a direct sequel of each other. But I'm talking more about the fact that, enhanced versions are kind of a ripoff. And don't get me wrong, Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Crystal, and Pokemon Platinum are some of the best games that Pokemon has ever created. But at the same time, you could even make an argument that they're not really necessary. They're enhanced versions of the story, so of course there's going to be some enhancements to the story to make them better. But at the same time, couldn't we have just gotten them to begin with? And that's why I prefer Black 2 and White 2 versus the other 3 games I mentioned, because technically they're enhanced versions, but because they're direct sequels, it actually gave an in-universe reason as to why certain things played out the way they did. They already set the tone of like, this is a couple years in the future. This is a couple years after the events of what happened. And so even though we got some, enhancements, the enhancements made sense because time progresses versus you got Pokemon Emerald, you got Pokemon Crystal, you got Pokemon Platinum, and they're just like, well, here's a game with some features we took out and then added them in. But I don't know. These are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear yours down in the comment section. Bro, it is so funny how everyone who shit on Gen 5 is now complaining that there's too much Kanto representation. It's just so funny to me how after all that negativity about how you wanted Kanto Pokemon during your playthrough, you wanted a lot more older Pokemon instead of all these new ones, and now that you're getting older Pokemon represented all the time in every generation, you're mad about it. This has got to be the funniest case of fuck around and find out we have ever seen. For example, Gen 6 was a huge love letter to Kanto, and when Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire showed up, Gen 3 got a huge love letter as well. And that should have been just enough, but no, Game Freak said, but wait, there's more. And then we get Gen 7. Sun and Moon were a huge love letter to Kanto. Also, we got the Let's Go games. Game Freak really said, y'all want Kanto? Y'all want older Pokemon? Here you go. And thus began the Pokemon Civil War, where Game Freak said, y'all want nostalgia overload? We'll give it to you. And the fans who did not like the fact that in Gen 5 we could not use Kanto Pokemon now hate the fact that all we're getting is a love letter to Kanto. And this time Game Freak is like, no, we're not going to listen to you. We're going to keep doing this to you. And this has been some of the funniest shit I have ever seen in my life. So why haven't we gotten a Rainbow Rocket continuation in the mainline Pokemon games? As I was just sitting there thinking about it, Team Rainbow Rocket in the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon post game was a really good concept. What happens if the evil team leaders won? And that's what led to these two videos on my channel of Cyrus and Team Galactic should have succeeded and Team Plasma should have succeeded. Because at the end of the day, it gives a glimpse into a parallel universe of the evil teams actually completing their plans. And when you sit there and you watch the end of the story, you realize Giovanni still has plans. Even though he was dealt with, he still has plans in the making. So it's like, why haven't we gotten this? Now, this is where I'm going to preface. In the mainline games, because I know Team Rainbow Rocket and Rainbow Rocket Giovanni has showed up in the mobile games at some point doing something. I haven't played the mobile game, so I don't know. So don't come for me saying they've done something. That's why I'm prefacing this by saying in the mainline game. Like, I know it's a little bit hard to throw Team Rainbow Rocket in there, especially how, Gen 8 and Gen 9 have been with DLC, and that's been their post game for the most part. But you could have done something. Like, I truly mean you could have done something. But yeah, like, I just wish we had more Rainbow Rocket content in the mainline games. That's what I just wish right now. Does Pokemon, in its current state, need a game where we can travel to every single region? My answer is no. Just no. There's no way that could happen on the Switch at all. Hell, I don't even think the Switch 2 would be powerful enough to do it whenever that comes out. Like, unless Nintendo is sitting on like some type of gold mine of technology that we've never heard of before, I don't think the Switch 2 would be powerful enough to do something like that. Since you would need much more power, and Nintendo likes to keep everything in-house, I mean, there goes the chance of it ever going on, another console like, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and we'll most likely never see it on Steam. And not even to mention the fact that their open world in Scarlet and Violet leaves a lot to be desired. Now, I understand that probably in the next generation they're going to fix that. Hopefully, they tend to fix things. But it's kind of hard to, say, hey, after Scarlet and Violet, and then you go into a game where you can go to every single region, how are you going to fix the open world problem? But yeah, I just don't see how they could potentially do that. I don't see a way. And even if they did, it would just be buggy as hell when we get Scarlet and Violet 2, Electric Boogaloo. Hey, there goes the direct sequel idea I was talking about. You should go watch that video. But anyway, these are just my thoughts. And, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Am I being too pessimistic or am I right about this? Let me know in the comment section. Going back to 2D is a very interesting idea. Some may even say a great idea. But I don't know if it's necessarily the best idea or the best thing for Pokemon. Going back to 2D provides a very interesting gamble for Game Freak, so to speak. While, yes, on the one hand, it is going to sell on the fact that it's nostalgia and everyone's been wanting 2D to come back for a long time, and it also allows you to fix the computing power because Nintendo consoles aren't necessarily that powerful. It then creates a situation where if they do this game very, very well, are they going to be able to sell future 3D games? For the longest time, Pokemon and Game Freak have stuck the feather in their cap that 3D is going to work. It's going to work. They've kind of made it their final gambit, so to speak, that 3D is the new standard going forward. And while they've made it work for the most part on a lot of these games, a lot of fans have still called the question that Pokemon and Game Freak don't know what to do with the actual series itself. They don't know what to do with the mainline games because to them, 3D has never been good. And so if this game knocks it out of the park, it allows them to be called to question and allows you to pull the card, you don't know what you're doing, and then it's going to cause an even bigger rift between Game Freak and the fans, and you don't necessarily want that. You want people to buy your games, and you want people to trust you that you know what you're doing, but if you cause a big rift between yourselves and the publishers, then ultimately, this game may ultimately end up being a huge flop for Game Freak and Pokemon. Short answer is Scarlet and Violet, and the fact that this game in specific is more than likely going to be a fully explorable open world that is 3D. Now, let's take a look at Scarlet and Violet for a second. Scarlet and Violet are fully explorable 3D open worlds. And because this game would more than likely be the same thing, it would need more power if you're adding all the regions, because they're not just going to upscale them from what they once were. They're going to make them fully explorable 3D open worlds. They're going to make gens 1 through 8 fully explorable open 3D worlds. That's what they're going to do if they were to make this game. And we already know the Switch had a problem running one region that was fully explorable. And even if the Switch 2 is more powerful, it would still have an issue with all the regions being fully explorable 3D open worlds. Or whenever they made this game and there's more regions to come, it would definitely have a problem putting all the regions in there. That's why it would need more power. I've thought about this, and I've thought long and hard. And I think Team Rainbow Rocket might be the answer here. Like, I've said this before. I think Team Rainbow Rocket, Pokemon, has left a lot of money on the table when dealing with them in the main series. Now, I know Team Rainbow Rocket has done some stuff in the mobile games, but I do feel as though they've left a lot of money on the table when it comes to using them in the main series. Like, we got them once in the post-game of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and we haven't seen them again in the main series. Like, for one thing, Team Rainbow Rocket isn't like really complex. They're just basically Giovanni who succeeded ended up gathering other bosses who were successful. And with that, I feel as though it can bring up a very interesting narrative where you're not just dealing with the boss of that region, you're also dealing with the successful version as well. Whether it be Giovanni usurped the unsuccessful one and placed the successful one in his place, and the plans are a lot more concrete and whatnot. Or Giovanni's like, here is a version of you that succeeded. Work with them to actually succeed here. And it would also happen the same way with Cyrus, with Ghetsis, and with Lysander. Ultimately culminating with you going back to Kanto to stop Giovanni and Rainbow Rocket Giovanni. Honestly, that's the best I got when it came to narrative. I know a lot of people have been talking about what would the plot be. And this is what I think would honestly be good. I think this would be good.